If you asked 10 years ago which coast was winning the American dream, California would have been the easy answer. Tech, sunshine, endless opportunity. But fast forward to today, and it's Florida that's cashing the checks and collecting the movers. Homeowners are leaving the Golden State by the tens of thousands, chasing lower taxes, cheaper homes, and honestly, fewer headaches. Miami's luxury market, 40% of new buyers are from the West Coast. That's not migration, that's a message. So, what's really happening? Are people running from California or running to Florida? And is this just a phase or the start of a massive coastal power shift? Let's break down the numbers, the policies, and the quiet risks hiding behind all that sunshine. Because this story's bigger than real estate. It's about who gets to keep the American dream and who's paying extra for it. They look like twins at first glance, both kissed by the ocean, both glowing under the same sun. California and Florida, two coasts, two lifestyles, two dreams of paradise. But dig into the numbers and the story splits in half. As of October 2025, California's median list price sits around $775,000, with only 57,000 homes on the market. Florida? Roughly $484,000 median, with 97,000 listings and nearly double the inventory. That means one coast is holding value through scarcity, while the other is negotiating through abundance. California's market is lean. Tight supply, slower listings, and sellers still in control. Florida's is wide open. More homes, more deals, and buyers quietly calling the shots. Both markets are moving, but in opposite directions. And those rhythms are starting to shape migration patterns, investment choices, even retirement plans. Before we ask why people are leaving California, we need to understand what they're comparing it to. Because the answer isn't just in price, it's in contrast. For decades, California was the dream. Good jobs, perfect weather, golden coastlines, the postcard version of success. But lately, that dream's been slipping out of reach. Between 2023 and 2024, nearly 240,000 residents packed up and left California, the largest exodus of any U.S. state. Over 39,000 landed in Florida. For homeowners, the math just doesn't add up anymore. In Marin County, owning a median-priced home now eats up 119.7% of the average local wage. Add in state income taxes above 13%, surging insurance, and strict housing rules, and even high earners are cashing out. Meanwhile, in Miami, developers are rolling out the welcome mat. At projects like Cipriani Residences and the Paragon, 40% of new buyers came from the West Coast. As developer Camilo Miguel Jr. put it, Miami represents a new start, a place where policies, economics, and lifestyle align together very well. What looks like a lifestyle move is really an economic correction. When the cost of staying outweighs the price of moving, the decision makes itself. On the surface, California still shines. The coastline's breathtaking, jobs are plentiful, and prices remain high sky. But under the surface, cracks are forming. According to the ATTOM Homing Risk Report, 14 of the 50 most vulnerable U.S. housing markets are in California. In counties like Shasta, Humboldt, and Butte, the warning signs are piling up: foreclosures, job losses, and wages that can't keep up. Foreclosures are rising. 1 in every 766 homes across several northern counties faced legal action last quarter, compared to 1 in 1,413 nationally. Unemployment paints the same picture. Roughly 35% of California counties have jobless rates above the national average. In Imperial County, it's a staggering 19%. California isn't collapsing, it's straining. The pressure's not loud, but it's real. It's the quiet fatigue of a state trying to hold up a dream heavier than it looks. If California's losing its crowd, Florida's soaking it up. Inventory sits around 97,000 homes, nearly double California's, and median prices hover at $484,000. But here's the twist. Nearly 44% of Florida listings saw price cuts this fall, compared to 36% in California. That's not disaster, that's correction. The state's Market Action Index at 30.3 shows a market leaning toward buyers. Florida's booming, but it's also balancing. More listings, more competition, and rising insurance premiums mean growth comes with exposure. Florida sunshine still sells, but every paradise has its fine print, and this one reads, "Handle with care." When Californians leave, they don't just take their belongings, they take their balance sheets. A 2025 National Taxpayers Union report found California lost $4.5 billion in adjusted gross income last year. Florida gained $4.1 billion. California's top income tax, 13.3%. Florida's, 0. That's not coincidence, that's gravity. One developer said it best: it's good for their wallets. It gives them more buying power. Picture California as a leaky pipe. Money drips out every April. Florida's the bucket catching it all. The result? Miami isn't just selling condos, it's selling conversion, turning tax savings into real estate capital. Wealth doesn't vanish, it relocates. Quietly, efficiently, permanently. You can't really understand California's housing problem without understanding California itself. A state that believes in big ideas, deep protections, and heavy regulation. Zoning boards, environmental reviews, rent caps, all designed to protect the dream. But together, they've made it harder to build one. Developers joke that in California, it takes longer to get a permit than to build a skyscraper. And they're not far off. Every new rule adds another layer to an already expensive market. Florida took a different route. Its culture leans toward freedom of movement, business incentives, and minimal oversight. Fewer restrictions mean faster builds, and sometimes faster mistakes. But the system rewards speed and confidence. As Miami developer Camilo Miguel Jr. puts it, Miami represents a new start. A place where policies, economics, and lifestyle align very well. California's economy runs on innovation and ideals. Florida's runs on opportunity and access. One optimizes for protection, the other for permission. Both models come with trade-offs. In California, policy protects tenants but slows construction. In Florida, rapid growth creates affordability risks of its own. They're two sides of the same coin, one cautious, one bold, both deeply American. For homeowners, those philosophies show up in everyday life. California families pay more for stability and regulation. Florida families gamble on growth and flexibility. Culture isn't just about politics. It's the invisible architecture of a state. And right now, it's building two very different versions of the American dream. For every graph and headline, there's a family making the hardest choice of their life. A couple in San Jose sold their two-bedroom for just over $1 million and bought a waterfront condo near Tampa, cash, no mortgage, no state tax. He said, "We loved California, but it stopped loving us back." It's not just retirees. It's young remote workers, entrepreneurs, and families, all looking for breathing room. At projects like Cipriani Residences, 40% of summer buyers came from the West Coast. They talk about sunshine, but what they're really buying is stability, the kind you can measure in square feet and peace of mind. These aren't people escaping a state. They're rebuilding their lives somewhere that still feels affordable to dream. When you line up the numbers, coast to coast, a pattern starts to appear. Not just movement, but migration with intent. The 2025 Atom Risk Report showed clusters of stress across the West Coast and pockets of resilience across the South. 14 of America's riskiest housing counties were in California. 7 were in Florida, proof that risk follows prosperity wherever it grows. Climate adds another layer. In California, drought and fire make insurance harder to find. In Florida, storms and flood zones rewrite the same policy costs. Different disasters, same uncertainty. Nationwide, home ownership now consumes about 33% of the average household's income. But in California's coastal counties, it's often double or triple that, up to 119% in Marin. The math isn't local anymore, it's systemic. That's why the middle of the map is heating up. Texas, Tennessee, the Carolinas, markets once overlooked are becoming migration magnets, offering what the coasts can't: stability without sacrifice. So this isn't just a story of California losing and Florida winning. It's about a redistribution of possibility, from expensive optimism to affordable realism. Coastal America is quietly splitting, not by beaches, but by balance sheets. One coast defends the dream at any cost. The other sells it wholesale. The rest of the country is deciding which model to follow. Because in the end, this isn't about leaving California or arriving in Florida. It's about chasing a version of the American dream that still feels attainable. California and Florida, two visions of the American dream, shaped by the same sun but cast in different light. California built the dream: innovation, ambition, and protection. Florida priced it: low tax, high speed, open doors. Each promises freedom in its own way. In California, freedom from inequality through rules and reform. In Florida, freedom from restraint through opportunity and motion. Neither is perfect. California's costs are punishing. Florida's growth carries risk. But together, they sketch the boundaries of a new American reality, where prosperity is mobile and policy has a price. The real question isn't who wins between them. It's who gets to keep the dream they're both chasing. Because for millions of Americans, the next move isn't just across a map, it's across a mindset.